Welcome to Burns White, Inside the Law, a podcast about the law and the people behind the practice. I'm your host, Ahsan Jafry. Today we are here with Anne Frankel, one of my favorite people at Burns White, someone who's just winning at life. Like, a really a role model for everyone. Anne, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, especially with that lead-in.
Well, people who know you know what I'm talking about.
Perhaps. I'm going to tell my kids that you said that, though.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Right. And then I'm happy to speak to them directly if you need a reference.
I might.
So, Anne, what we've been doing here is we're giving our Burns White lawyers a chance to talk about themselves and their practice. And it's something that a lot of lawyers just like to do. Not necessarily you, but others in the firm, and I don't have to mention names, but it's a good chance to kind of get to know you a little bit more, and get people to know you the way I know you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with your start in the law and your path to Burns White.
So I went to Northeastern University in Boston and graduated with a criminal justice degree.
Where are you from originally?
Here, Philly,
okay,
7 minutes from where we are right now.
Okay, right.
So I went to Northeastern in Boston. I rode there, and then I had always planned to go to law school. So I majored in criminal justice, graduated, went to Widener Law, which I lovingly refer to as the Harvard of Delaware.
It is the Harvard of Delaware. Right, yeah.
And graduated from there, went and did a clerkship in Camden in the criminal courts with a fantastic judge.
Who did you clerk with?
Judge Wells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And really loved criminal law. But it was 2008 and there were no opportunities in the DA's office. So I went and did med mal for 3 years at a boutique law firm. There was not a good work-life balance there, and I didn't see a lot of opportunities for growth. Stuart O'Neill, and I knew he was looking to build a team. I interviewed with him, and I've been here for 13 years.
Okay. You've been married around that time too, right?
So I
know this because I stalk your LinkedIn. We're going to talk a lot about your social media posts later, so I know so much about you through that.
So I came here a month and a half before my wedding.
Oh, okay.
And those were directly linked events because I knew that we wanted to start a family, but I wanted to get established at a firm, establish my practice, and then start having kids. So that was deliberately linked in time.
I don't know anyone who plans the way you plan. I have to tell you, you are such a role model. That's why I was saying you're winning at life, and it's not by accident. We're going to get it, and people, by the end of this podcast, everyone's going to agree with me.
Okay. We'll see.
And so, you, how old is your oldest child?
He is 10.
10, okay. And you have 2 or 3 kids?
I have 3.
3 kids, okay, right.
10, a boy, and then an 8-year-old girl, and an almost 5-year-old boy.
Okay. Awesome. And you started working with Stuart at Burns White?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We had been co-defense counsel on cases together.
Sure. Okay.
I knew him briefly because of that, but I was excited about the opportunity to work for a younger partner level, someone that was moving and shaking a little bit in the field.
And he's moved and shaked.
He sure has.
He sure has. Right. Yeah, and you yourself have built this practice, which you talk about. When did you rise to the level of partner? You came up with associate, and then I think, just walk us through.
So one of our law clerks asked me that, and I think it pretty closely aligns with when I had each of my kids, ironically enough. So
it's a good benchmarks in life.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the guide that you remember all events by. But I think I became, so as you know, we have 3 levels of partnership here at Burns White, and I became a C-level partner. Maybe it was either a year after my son was born or while I was pregnant with my daughter. And then I became B about 2 years after that. And then I became an equity partner in 2020 after delivering my pandemic baby and buying a house, which was really great timing. Right.
A lot going on that year.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And the practice group that you currently run now, why don't you describe that for our viewers?
So it is a sexual and physical misconduct practice group, and we primarily focus on representing institutions where there's been allegations of either sexual or physical abuse or misconduct. And that practice group developed organically almost 10 years ago.
Okay.
Stuart and I represent a lot of healthcare institutions or similarly situated providers, and we started getting a few cases here and there that involved allegations of abuse or neglect. No one in the group, but for me, really wanted to handle them. Mm-hmm. I liked that they had a criminal component. I liked that they were different. They obviously have a very human factor to them. So we started working those up, and they started increasing in numbers to the point where we had, 10 of these cases almost 7 years ago regularly. And now we're up, I don't have a firm number, but there's quite a few, some that we're on notice of and some that are currently in litigation. So we decided to officially launch the practice group in January.
One thing that me knowing you and seeing you handle these cases, what I personally have noticed is the way you handle them, you deal with them with such empathy, and it's amazing to me. Like I've seen you talk about these cases, and I've talked to you about the cases that you've had, and just talk about how you bring that into every case.
Yeah, well, thank you for the compliment, first of all. It's the way that we handle these cases is extremely important to me, personally and professionally. When we started handling these cases almost 10 years ago, a lot of people were using medical malpractice defense attorneys to address these claims, and the style doesn't really translate from medical malpractice defense, where you're focused on medicine and science and causation. It doesn't really translate directly to the sexual misconduct work. Right. And so what I noticed is that we got more out of the process for both the institutional client and the plaintiffs when we approached it with empathy. And it just felt more authentic to me and how I was practicing. So we really focused on that approach. And what I found is that our clients were so grateful that we were doing it in that way, because it more closely matched their authentic entity. So these are, mental health providers, medical providers, and they felt that more accurately represented their existence.
Right.
So I don't know how many other people are really doing it out there that way, but I feel good about the way we're doing it.
Yeah, I have a lot of pride in watching you do it, I can tell you.
Thank you.
We, in confession, we had I think it was in Philadelphia when we had the presentations, the Med-Mal seminars. I spoke right after you in that one. And after you did yours, I was like, I'm not going up there. Yours was so good. It was so good. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have to go after this. And it's, if anybody gets a chance to watch you present, I would say for any reviewers, if you're interested in this area of law, run to one of your presentations.
Can I make a confession for you?
What's that?
That was one of the first times I've solely presented outside the firm on the topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
that was good.
I definitely reached a flow state during that presentation, because it is so authentically inherent to the way I practice. But the reception to that presentation was huge in building the brand around it, as well as we got a lot of feedback from that was very positive.
Yeah, and then we did the same seminar in Pittsburgh, and I was right after you again.
No.
Yeah, but you did by Zoom though, so I was like, all right, this is at least it's by Zoom, so it was a little bit better for me.
Yeah, I did not.
It's all about me, obviously.
Obviously,
how I do.
Well, I'm glad that I could facilitate a better experience for you. I did not feel great about doing that by Zoom, because I feed so much off of the energy in the room, but I had a client that wanted me at a conference, and that obviously takes
Well, it was
precedent.
fine. It was fine. I mean, obviously the one in person was better, but
it
was pretty good by Zoom too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So back to what I was saying about you winning in life. The reason why I say that is for anybody who knows you and follows you on social media, you have the best posts that like as far as like inspiring, balancing work-life balance and like just being a professional and also maintaining your authenticity as a human being. Like you just, I see your posts and it just makes me feel better about myself and it makes me reflect on things. So I want to give you a chance to talk about, put more light as far as more color into what you're posting on LinkedIn social media.
Yeah, so I do not regularly engage in some of the more conventional social media platforms such as Facebook or Instagram, in part because I respect my kids' privacy immensely,
Sure.
and I did not want to post about those things, but it kind of happened organically. I felt that there was a missed opportunity on LinkedIn to talk about the intersection between practicing law and being a mom, especially in a dual working household.
Sure.
And I did a few posts just to put it out there, and I had a very strong positive reaction from some clients that and from other attorneys in the firm that made me want to keep going.
Sure.
And so since then, and I've only been doing it for 2 months, I think.
It's only been 2 months?
2 or 3
really?
months.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Since then, I've had other partners and other firms and other contacts reach out to me and say, I just shared your post on this, or you have to keep on posting on this stuff. And so I think it's something that's going to continue because we're getting such great feedback from it.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
The first one, you haven't posted it yet, but you told me you're posting it. You mentioned you're failing at the dentist today.
Yeah. So the Frankel family.
This just happened today, right?
This just happened this morning.
Okay, right.
And
it's really fresh.
It is fresh, and I don't like the dentist. So typically, the dentist is my husband's responsibility. Okay. So I really think that this was not supposed to happen to me. But I horse traded him for another appointment that my son has next week in the middle of the day.
Horse traded?
Yeah, we just traded. And so I took the 3 kids to the dentist this morning, and we walked out with Fs. And
you walk out with an F?
With an F.
I think we've all been there, by the way. You know?
Yeah, and a quote for about $1,000 in future dental work. So it was one of those things where I was like, what just happened? It's not even 9:30 in the morning. Everyone's overstimulated, and we really failed at going to the dentist. So it was not a win this morning. But when I was contemplating how can we carry this forward in a positive way for other people, a win isn't always what you plan it to be. So ideally, I would have loved to walk out of the dentist with a 0 balance and a cavity-free morning. But there is a win in the fact that I was able to take my kids to the dentist. I was able to clear time to do that on my calendar, that no one was texting me, where are you? All the kids were wearing shoes, which is positive.
Hey, that's awesome. Right?
Yeah. And no one had a major meltdown. So it is a win. It wasn't the win I was picturing, but it's a win.
Okay, we'll take it, right? All right, so I have my phone in front of me, which I hate doing during these. I'm doing anything, but just so everybody knows, I'm not texting or anything. I'm just looking at it.
He's just looking at my content.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's a post that you made. The most effective meeting I have all week, the Sunday family huddle. It's short, it's chaotic, and it keeps our household from falling apart by Wednesday. Walk us through the Frankel family huddle.
Yeah. So I do huddles in the office, and we meet as a team. It's usually a stand-up in the morning. I would say 3 to 5 days a week as a team. And so we brought that home. My husband and I talked about it, and we kind of need that reset point. I make a point of all of us sitting down for dinner on Sunday night together, and during that dinner, we go over what's coming up for the week. We talk about the meals that are upcoming. Objections to the meal plan are noted. And
are they considered?
Sometimes, okay. Not always. And we kind of just talk about who needs to be where, and it's really setting expectations. Our household moves very, very quickly, and that can be very difficult for the kids and my husband and I to process. So just setting expectations for the week goes a really long way in planning.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about the week, Thursday. I was talking about Thursday. Let me see this. The Thursday checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
As a litigator and a mom, Thursday is my checkpoint. It's when I triage, look ahead to Monday, carve out time for family, rest and reset. Some weekends are for soccer tournaments and errands. Others are for litigation prep and reviewing expert reports. Either way, the work and the life have to sit side by side. To everyone wrapping up a long week while gearing up for a full weekend, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean by that? Like, how does, like, that Thursday?
So a lot of time management experts will tell you to do your planning or your calendar review on Friday, and that just wasn't working for me. Mm-hmm. Friday's almost too late when you have to plan for a weekend full of soccer tournaments and horseback riding, and you have enough yogurt for Saturday morning breakfast, right? Yeah. So I kind of thought, what if we shift it up and carve out that time? What it allowed for me to do was also to meet with my team on Thursday afternoon, and they had Friday to plan for themselves. Okay. So by moving up my checkpoint one day, it gave my team that built-in day so that I'm not emailing them over the weekend, which we really try to avoid. And then I'm also ready on the home front. And I can also set expectations with my home team if work needs to be on the agenda. So just that built-in cushion around Friday was really helpful. I will also say by most Fridays, I am toast. So it helps to get that done on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. Because Friday's like, it's a good day to kind of like, you know, like start the weekend early. Like,
maybe. Yeah. I like to work late on Friday nights.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
So that is.
I'm not about that.
That's one of my secrets.
Okay.
I really like clearing the decks on Friday and having inbox zero going into Saturday.
That's a good point. Then Saturday and Sunday, you're kind of like, you know.
I'm not worried about what's sitting there that hasn't been touched. So I do time emails so that they do go out during regular business hours.
Oh, okay. That's very considerate of you.
I try, and then I also tell my team, just because I'm emailing on the weekends doesn't mean I'm expecting you to.
Sure.
They kind of understand.
But you also kind of like a little bit when they do, though, right?
I do get a little. You're
like, you know, like it's like, I'm not expecting anything, but when they do, it's like, I see you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, like,
I do see you, but they also, I work a lot, but I kind of do alter my schedule around my kids and my own energy levels. So sometimes that does mean early mornings, nights, and weekends, and that's just the way it is.
Okay. Next post. My first experience with team delegation wasn't at work. It was at home. Learning to trust someone else to pack the lunches, respond to a teacher email, or handle the bedtime wasn't easy, but it made me a better leader. Delegation isn't about control. It's about clarity, trust, and letting go. If you struggle with delegation at work, ask yourself, do you practice it at home?
Yeah.
You seem like you have a lot of confidence in your husband.
It's not my husband.
Your kids?
No, we have a wonderful nanny.
Oh, okay.
That works.
But you still have confidence in your husband, though, right?
I do have confidence in my husband. And my husband, very early on in our parenting journey, bought a shirt that says it's not babysitting, it's just parenting.
Right.
And that's kind of how we live by. And him and I are very, very much a team. But I think what helped our marriage tremendously was outsourcing the overlap. So there are no arguments over who's packing lunch.
Sure.
And we outsourced that to a nanny who was really my first training ground on training someone to do things the way I wanted them done, but also realizing that she may have a better way. And that was eye-opening in terms of how I've now developed and trained our team. So she does pack the lunches. Our older kids do their own, but she's still packing our younger ones, and then I review it to make sure it meets the school expectations for nut-free and whatnot. And that's been positive, like really positive. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay, awesome. It's also finding the right... It's a combination of finding the right person and trusting them and also showing them, you know...
Yes,
what works and what doesn't.
She is our third nanny, so there was definitely a learning curve, but an immense amount of trust, collaboration, and respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. To the working parents making decisions in the boardroom and the mudroom, keep going. You're doing more than you know, and it matters. You don't need a perfect system. You need a committed team. Make space for grace at work and at home.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're expecting perfection, you're going to be disappointed. So my husband is a COO of a real estate company, and we are constantly making high-level decisions that can are big brain drains. So you've got to give yourself grace that it's not going to be perfect all the time. And I think as parents to the up-and-coming generation, we think a lot about flexible thinking, but we're not practicing it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about there, is the flexible thinking around your own expectations.
Okay, what do you mean flexible thinking?
So flexible thinking is if you don't have the outcome that you expected to have, you can find positives in the outcome that happened.
Oh, like the dental.
Like the dental circumstance.
There you go. Right, yeah,
right? And so, if, like we talk with my kids, if you open your lunchbox and you're expecting to see a sunflower butter and jelly sandwich and it happens to be ham and cheese, well, I guess I'm working on my liking ham and cheese today, or maybe I could buy lunch instead, so that's, there's always opportunities to seek out other resources, and it doesn't have to be the way you want it all the time.
Okay. Next one. "13 years at the same firm, burns white. That's not a typo, and it's not an accident. In a profession where lateral moves are common, I've chosen to build my career in one place. Why? Because I've had the opportunity to grow with the firm. From associate to partner, from observer to strategist, from contributor to leader."
Yeah, I think 13 years in one place is highly unusual. Because of that post, I've had conversations with people that have been here 10 years, which I don't think I realized how common it is for us to have decade-long employees or more here. But there's been a lot of points in my career where I could have gone somewhere else for more money or more prestige or a bigger name firm at the time. And I chose not to because I was really comfortable here in all the right ways. Not comfortable in terms of complacent, but comfortable in terms of I could advocate for flexibility if needed around my kids. I could also advocate to take the lead on a deposition. So that ability to continue my own growth and be in charge of my own destiny is what kept me here. It's also the relationships that we have in this firm are exceptional, and Stuart was a wonderful sponsor for me, is a wonderful sponsor for me in my career, and I really like the people I work with.
Except me.
Yes, you're definitely on the not liking list.
The one thing that I'll say that in knowing you this long, and I think I started Libby I'm going to say around the same time, maybe a little bit before you, around the same time, and Monica's the same way in Cherry Hill. It's like I've seen you, Liz also, I've seen you guys rise to like the highest level of the firm, and I've seen you go through every level of life, meaning like having kids and getting to kids at a certain age, you know what I mean? And that's one track. That's the personal track. And the other track is rise to the firm as an associate, as a partner, and now an equity partner. And now what I see is now you're the mentors for young women who are kind of walking the same path that that you did, right?
Yeah.
And I know you've kind of taken on that role at the firm.
I have. I woke up one morning and realized that I was the old partner in the room. And it was
it's a bad feeling,
oh my
right?
God.
No, the best thing is when you walk in the hallway and everybody goes back in their office. And you're just I was just oh man, I'm that guy,
Or you get the sense that people are staying because you're still working.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You can go home,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I think that it's been great, working with you and Liz and Monica and sitting in on like the elevation discussions.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting to think like these are my peers and we are all rising within this firm together. And we all started off as maybe baby lawyers or whatever you want to call it. Courtney Barbicane on our team, when she was going through consideration for equity and she was working on marketing to build up an appropriate level of a book, I said to her, a rising tide raises all ships. And sometimes if you check...
That's like the theme of Burns White, by the way.
Yes, totally. Right. And sometimes if you check on Burns White between her and I, LinkedIn posts, you will see a tide emoji and a ship emoji, and that's like our wink salute to one another.
Nice.
But I am so over women competing and peers competing. There is room enough at Burns White for everyone to succeed, and we all do better when we support each other. And the competitiveness that you hear about at other firms just doesn't exist here.
It doesn't really fly here.
No, it's the jerk factor that we don't allow, right?
Yeah. And the women's group and stuff that you do with that, I think it's fantastic work. I always feel excluded, but that's okay.
Well, yeah.
That's okay.
I think you have to be excluded from some of the conversations.
I got it, right.
But I do think that there are some opportunities for us to
I do manage to come in there and steal the food when I can.
Okay. All right. Well, that's important. But I think also, male sponsorship of females and female sponsorship of men in the firm, it needs to become a little bit more common now that we have such an established female network within the firm. We kind of need to invite your perspective too.
Yeah, look, this year, Courtney got promoted, right? And that puts 3 equity partners that were women this year,
Monica
right?
and Liz, yes.
Right? All 3 of them in 1 year, which is
so exciting.
It was a great moment, and when the discussions that we had with the vote and stuff like that, I had a lot of pride in them, and I know you did too.
Yeah, and I remember when we were having all the meetings to go about that, they're at 8 a.m., which conflicts with my kids' bus time. So I would always say, I can't get you on the bus. Like, Dad's going to get you on the bus because I have this partner meeting. And the kids would always be like, well, what's on the agenda for today, you know? And it was exciting to tell them that we were considering elevating, 3 women within the firm that I basically grew up with at the firm. I mean, that was really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's we'll do one more, and then we'll wrap up. Mentorship is more than advice. Some of the most pivotal moments in my career didn't happen in a courtroom or a conference room. They happened in conversations with people who are willing to listen, share honestly, and challenge me to rise. That's what mentorship is about.
Yeah. I don't think that enough mentoring, and this is reciprocal, involves direct conversations that need to happen. And I made a decision on my team, I want to say a year ago, where I stopped. This is going to sound terrible, so bear with me. Okay. I stopped really caring about the emotions that were going to be the emotional reaction to what I was going to say, and I just put it out there. I'm expecting more of you.
That's actually growth of I had a conversation with Bill on one of these episodes, and I don't know if yours is going to air before his or not, but it's when you become a leader, there's certain skills that you kind of develop, right? And it's different than being an attorney or doing your own work, and that's one of them, is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable and having uncomfortable conversations.
And I felt that the uncomfortableness was being generated by trying to avoid the emotion.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. And so they don't have to like the feedback I'm giving them, but they do have to trust that it's accurate and that it comes from a place of caring. And that's what I try to tell them directly, what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling. I also want them to tell me directly what they're seeing and feeling. And we've reached a really great point on our team. And I have 10 people that work directly with me under my leadership. They tell me like it is. And so we just had a conversation in the kitchen with one of the associates, and And he said to me, like, you've got a bottleneck. You're the bottleneck around this issue. And we need to figure out how to fix that. And
bottleneck meaning things kind of get stuck with you,
stuck with me. And I was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. And
Yeah.
I want you to come to me with 1 to 2 solutions about how we can avoid that
Yeah,
in the future.
it's so good that they're honest with you about it.
It's,
you know, like,
it's so refreshing.
Because I've had situations where it's like, I know I'm the bottleneck, and no, they're afraid to tell me that I'm the bottleneck, but I could kind of read, it's like, well, this has been on your desk for 2 months,
right?
And it's late. And I'm just like, okay, that means it's my fault, you know, like.
Right, but it's not just about the directness of the conversation. They have to be willing to find a solution.
Yeah,
because
sure.
one of the reasons you're holding on to it is because there may be a lack of trust in handing it off to someone else, or you may not know the case as well as someone else does, right? So you have to analyze that factor. Or are we maintaining too much control because that's how we roll, you know? So I think
that's all part of the process of growing as a leader.
And I will say that outright to my team. I'm holding on to this because I don't like releasing control. And they, you know, they'll tell me like it is. There's a really great book out there called Radical Candor that talks about this. If anyone wanted to read it, I think it's a really good read for leadership.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I was going to plug the Monday Leadership book that we're working on, but
there's a Monday Leadership
there's going to be. We're working on it, you know, like.
Interesting, because I'm working on a standard operating procedure.
Oh, really?
For our team that talks about some of the advice that I constantly give. We decided to memorialize it. So whose is going to get released first?
Oh, we'll see. I think yours is going to sell more. Right, with that, I think that's where. And any last thoughts? Well, let me ask you this: that's how I've been closing a lot of these. Is how do you see things at Burns White going forward with your group and just in general?
Well, that's proprietary. No, I'm just kidding. I am really excited about where our group is and the potential that I see happening with the sexual misconduct cases from a defense perspective. For a long time, it's been my perception that the plaintiff's bar has held on to trauma-informed lawyering as something that they have ownership over. And I am training our team on trauma-informed lawyering from a defense perspective. We're having a lot of conversations with organizations about how we can implement that for the defense, because it really benefits everyone if people are leading with empathy. If we plan to do what I'm hoping to do, I think that it has the potential to change how these cases are defended in the future, and collaboration between the sides on how to address these terrible incidents from occurring.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the cutting edge of this stuff.
I hope so.
And Bill likes to say, like, you're holding the sword. You know, like that's yeah.
He does say that.
Yeah,
He's like, "This is all you. You got this."
Yeah. Well, thanks, Anne. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful. Thanks. The information contained in this podcast is considered an outline intended to be supplemented by an attorney. The information is not legal advice and should not be considered as such. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or comments regarding this episode, feel free to email us at podcast@burnswhite.com.